I did a recent video where I showed you how to remove duplicated images from your media library. Let me clarify, when you drop an image into your media library in WordPress, you will have duplicated versions of that, like a medium, a large, and some other sizes that you never set up anywhere. And the code snippet that you can get for free, and the links are in the video description, that would mean that every time you drop an image in, it only saves the original and the 150 by 150 thumbnail size. Now, if you want to go and scale and crop within WordPress, that's okay, because it will then create a copy of that image and save that for you as well. So don't worry about that. You don't lose that facility. But what the code snippet would do is stop the other images, the 300, the 1024, the 768s, and loads of those being created and taking up space in your WordPress files and database. However, that is good when you add the code snippet and then drop in a brand new image. But what if your WordPress media library, well, not even your media library, but your backend files and database was loaded with existing images? So you've been adding images for the last 20 odd years and you've got all of these duplicates. How can you get rid of them? I'm going to show you how to do that with another code snippet. So you got the one that does the 150 and the original, and don't worry, I'm going to go through this step by step. Now, I do want to give you a word of warning. If you are using like a pre-built template or certain themes, maybe they've gone and created the homepage for you and then you swap out the logo and swap out your images. They may be very prescriptive over the sizes that your images need to be, but maybe you need to just go and explore that and make sure you are loading through the correct size images. But if you are creating those images before you drop them into your media library, you should be okay. Anyway, let me first revisit what the very first code snippet did. And I'm going to give you an example where we get to see the images loading in the file and database as well. This is a brand new website, and on the right hand side or above my head, you're going to see the files and database location. Basically, when I upload an image, you're now going to see the image, how many versions are created, and what are the sizes. And you're going to see how by using the second code snippet, we're going to get rid of the existing images. Now, from the get-go, if I go over to the media settings, I have not zeroed out my medium or my large sizes, because I want to just show you what would happen if you left your settings like this and you didn't touch them and you dropped in a brand new image. So we're going to go to media, we're going to go to library. I'm going to add in my first image. It's 1.6 megabyte. Now, when I add it in, you will have one image appear over here because that's what tends to happen. But look what's happening in our back end files and database. We have the original, which is 1.6 megabyte. We have a 150 by 150, which is a thumbnail. We have 3 by 165, 768, 1024, 1536. There's basically 6 versions, or one original, one thumbnail, and then 4 other originals. And a lot of that is because if we go back to our media settings, we didn't remove anything. Now, if I was to drop in another image, but this time I'm going to get rid of the settings over here, but I will leave the thumbnail, and I now drop in a second image, and this one we're going to call number 2. It's exactly the same size, by the way. So we add that in, you will now have another image. So we have the original image, we got the 150 by 150 thumbnail, but we still have 1768 and 1536. What we are missing, though, is the 300 and the 1024, because in our settings, we zeroed them out. If I had gone and set my large size to be 500, there would have been a 500 version appearing here. Now, I'm going to pop back in the first code snippet I showed you recently just to prove to you again what's happening before we move on to the second code snippet. And believe me, you want to watch this. I've popped back in the 300 and the 1024 as well, just to show you that when we activate that code snippet, even though these have been left in, it will ignore them. So here's the code snippet, and again, click the link in the video description. You'll see our code snippets bundle, and you can go and get this, or you might want to type or copy it now while you're looking at the screen. So we're going to save the changes and we're going to activate. Of course, I am using the free Code Snippets plugin that you can get from the WordPress repository. So if we go back to the media settings, look, it still says 300 and 1024. Now let's add in another image or a third one. We'll go for image number 3. They're all the same image. I just renamed them. So there we've got image 1, image 2, image 3. And over here, can you see we have image 3, the original, okay, because we've not cropped or scaled it. And now we've got the 150. So even though the settings still say 300 and 1024, that's all I'm getting. And not only that, I'm also not getting these other sizes, 768, 1536 as well. So that code snippet is going to reduce it down to the sizes you want. Now, you can overwrite the values. So I've set it to be 150 by 150 for thumbnail purposes. But if you wanted to be a bit more prescriptive over certain sizes, you could do. So this is all really good and well. I've now got my original and my 150 by 150. But what if for years and years and years, I've got all these legacy images that are still taking up space in my back-end files and databases? This is where you now want to use a second code snippet. And that's this one here that, again, you can get from the video link. Okay, you go over and you're going to see a new snippet, which is remove previous media except the original and the 150 by 150. You've got to have the first code snippet because it does the groundworks for keeping the original and the thumbnail. And then you got this second one that, again, you can save changes and activate, and it will then get rid of the old images. Did you see it delete? I mean, it happened almost instantly. It's like it just happens. And if it doesn't happen for you straight away, just go and refresh or go back again and then go back into that particular uploads folder or wherever you're currently looking. But we have image 1 and the thumbnail, image 2 and the thumbnail, image 3 and the thumbnail. All of the old images are gone. And I'm going to prove now, if I add a fourth image, what's going to happen with both code snippets activated. So let's go and drop in image number 4. And you'll see here, we've got the original image and we've got the 150 by 150, even though the media settings still say 300 and 1024. Just bear in mind, though, that if you are using these images on like a WordPress classic editor or any other page builder, when you go and select thumbnail for the resolution, you will see it. If you go and pick full size, you will see it. But if you go and pick large or medium, it's not going to appear for you because you've kind of eradicated them from being present. But it all depends on what you want to go for. You remove those code snippets or you don't have something in place. And every time you add an image, you could have 2 duplicates, 5 duplicates. You could even have 6 in some cases. It does happen. And if you imagine your images are not being converted into a WebP format, I mean, WebP format could be like 40, 50 kilobytes. But let's say you're adding in images that are 2 megabyte and you're getting these duplicated versions. It just starts to clog up your back end database. You don't have to use these code snippets. I mean, who the heck am I? But hey, the link is in the video description. So now you can remove the old legacy images. Of course, always take a backup, all right? I don't want anyone throwing stuff at me unless it's bottles of Pepsi Max, because you can throw as many as you want. But always take a backup, test out on a staging site, double check any pages or posts, because maybe some of those pages or posts were using an alternate sized image. It all depends on what resolution you picked. And if you do crop or scale, don't worry, it will maintain that. But again, just double check. I mean, a lot of these snippets I recommend for future websites. When you do it on an existing one, you got to then go through and check all your legacy pages and builds and whatever. But hey, this could massively help you out. Hey, I'm Imran from Web Squadron. I'll see you soon.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings.